Hi, welcome back, beautiful, beloved souls. My name is Jem Stone. I'm a psychic medium and I am an author. And on this channel, you'll find I don't fit a particular niche. I look at anything and everything through a lens, hence the name of my channel. Now, if you're interested in learning how to remote view or to channel, which I can do both, please stay to the end of the video and I will share with you how to get these PDFs. All I'm trying to do is make a few bucks. So I'm not pushing anyone into getting them. You either are interested or you're not. Okay, I'm going to break this commentary into two parts. So you can either stay for all the video or end it after I tell you. I ended at the end of the first part. So the first part is I remote viewed the wow signal before I came up with a commentary idea. So this part came first. After I remote viewed, I then decided to explore a different commentary. Okay, so these are the words I got from the wow signal. And you can see this is what you get. You just get little pieces. When you remote view, you might get a word, whereas channeling, you get downloads. At best, remote viewing is 65% accurate. And I would ask you to question everything, including me. So the first word I got was spirits, spiritual. Then information. From information, I got technological, technology. Then I got interdimensional, ancient, vast, AI, robotic, space, code, beings. Then I got shimmer, bright, stars. Then I got impossible. Then I got computer. Then I got important. Then bursts, from bursts, radio, from radio, static. Went back to the target, got thousands of years. Went back to the target, got contact. Went back to the target, got excitement. Then lost, triggered, scientist, galaxy, mission. Then I got sparse, from sparse, empty, from empty, space. Then I got impossible again. Then I got ship, returned, mission, significant, radio again. Then message, from message I got civilization. Then I got territory. Then I got speak. And then I turned over, did it again. So I just kept going back. And I got talk, speak, communicate again. Then I got telepathic. Then I got binary, computer, code. Then I got task. Then I got loud. From loud, I got signal. Then I got dying, deaf, advanced, discussion, repeat, later, time, probe, far away. Then I got communicate again. Then I got listen. From listen, I got we speak again. Then I got that there was an argument or disagreement around it, saying what it meant, and it was disputed. Then I got noise. Then I got attack. Then I got radio silence. From radio silence, I got waves. Then I got headlines, history. Then I got lost. From lost, I got in translation. Then I got deviation. Then confusion. Then many. Then warning. Then 70s. And I haven't put any of it together. I'll leave the interpretation open to you guys and to me. I don't know much about this signal at all. All right, that's the end of part 1. So let's get into part 2, which I did, like I said, after I remote viewed. So I know very little about it. All I know about it was a signal that was unusual and that the guy circled it in red. That's all I know. So, part 2, identifying the spiritual frequency of the mysterious wow signal using focused remote viewing. Introduction. On August the 15th, 1977, so remember I got in the 70s remote viewed. I didn't know the date, so that's right. So on August the 15th, 1977, and I looked this up, after I remote viewed, a radio telescope at Ohio State University detected a signal so unusual, the astronomer Jerry R. Eman, his name spelled EHMAN, circled the data printout and wrote one word beside it. Wow! For 72 seconds, something broadcast a narrow band transmission near the hydrogen line frequency of 1420 megahertz, a frequency many scientists believe would be the universal calling channel of intelligent life. Then, silence. No repeat. No confirmation. No explanation. For nearly 50 years, the world treated the wow signal as either an astronomical curiosity or an unsolved technical anomaly. But what if traditional science only examined half the event? What if the signal was never intended solely for radio equipment? What if it was designed to interact with consciousness itself? Remember, I looked at this after I remote viewed. Okay, so in this video, we're diving into one of the strangest experiments we've ever attempted. So this is the strangest experiments we've ever attempted. Before researching other interpretations or listening to commentary from anyone else, I conducted, like I said, my own focused remote viewing session on the wow signal. I wanted to approach it cold, without contamination from theories, documentaries, or scientific narratives. The goal was simple: isolate the energetic signature associated with the original 1977 transmission and observe what emerged through direct intuitive perception. This is not presented as scientific fact. This is an exploration, a psychological, spiritual, and symbolic investigation into one of humanity's greatest cosmic mysteries. And what emerged was deeply unsettling because the impressions did not feel random. They felt intentional. My initial remote viewing impressions. Before I even revisited the historical details of the signal, several impressions came through repeatedly. First, there was an overwhelming sensation of distance that did not feel physical alone. It felt layered, almost dimensional, as though the source was not simply far away in space, but separated by an entirely different mode of perception. I perceived a kind of waiting intelligence, not emotional in the human sense, not warm, not hostile, but observant. The strongest symbolic impression I received was that of a lighthouse rotating through darkness, not a vehicle approaching Earth, not an invasion, more like a beacon sweeping through cosmic silence looking for receptive minds. There was an unusual sensation of compression, almost like enormous information condensed into a tiny pulse. Imagine trying to squeeze an entire library into a single flash of light. I kept getting the feeling this is not the message itself, it's the knock on the door. And strangely, the signal did not feel dead, it felt ongoing. Remember, I got the word repeat? It felt ongoing, like an echo still moving through consciousness. Okay, I'm just showing you all the words. Now, could all this simply be imagination shaped by decades of UFO mythology embedded in culture? Absolutely. And that's important to acknowledge because discernment matters. The human mind is a projector machine. It creates patterns. It assigns meaning, especially when facing mystery. So, throughout this video, I want to maintain a balance between wonder and grounded skepticism. But with that said, let's examine why the wow signal continues to haunt scientists, mystics, and experiencers alike. The physics of a cosmic ghost. The wow signal originated from observations made by the Big Ear Radio Telescope in Ohio. Hawaii. Oh, come on, Gem. Gee, I'm having trouble today. Sorry, guys. The transmission occurred near the hydrogen line. F, standing for frequency, equals 142 or 1420 megahertz. This frequency matters because hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. Many SETI, S-E-T-I, researchers propose that any advanced civilization attempting interstellar communication might deliberately transmit this frequency because it acts as a kind of universal cosmic landmark. But here's where things become strange. The signal was extremely narrow band. Natural cosmic sources generally spread across multiple frequencies. This one appeared highly focused, which suggested artificial origin. And yet, it never repeated. Scientists have proposed explanations ranging from comets to terrestrial interference to unknown astrophysical phenomena, but none have completely solved the mystery. what fascinates me is the possibility that humanity automatically assumed the transmission was informational in the same way we think of radio broadcasts. Binary, mathematical data. Remember, I remote viewed and I got binary, but consciousness itself may operate differently. Modern discussions surrounding quantum observation and non-local awareness have reopened philosophical questions about whether consciousness interacts with reality more deeply than materialist science currently understands. I'm not claiming the wow signal proves this. But what if the transmission functioned less like a spoken sentence and more like a resonance key, a tuning fork, a synchronization pulse, not transmitting knowledge directly, but activating recognition? Because during the remote viewing session, I repeatedly sensed the 72-second duration was important, not accidental, not arbitrary, almost like a lock-on period. The cleaner protocol and emotional neutrality. One of the greatest dangers in remote viewing is expectation contamination. The moment a viewer desperately wants aliens, spirits, angels, demons, or galactic federations, the subconscious begins manufacturing symbolic theatre. Remember, when I remote viewed, I got beings and spirits. I'll just have a look. Yeah, I got spirits, spiritual. I got interdimensional. I also got AI. Okay, so this is why emotional neutrality is critical. What I call the cleaner protocol is essentially an attempt to reduce internal narrative pollution before engaging with a target. No dramatic music, no emotionally charged UFO footage, no reading theories beforehand, just silence, breathing, observation. The protocol focuses on removing 3 layers of contamination. First, cultural imagery, Hollywood aliens, grey archetypes. I didn't get greys, by the way. Science fiction expectations. Second, personal emotional desire, the need to feel chosen, special, contacted. And third, intellectual forcing, trying to solve the target rather than observe it. Because the moment the ego grabs the wheel, perception distorts. During this process, I focus specifically on stripping away the mythology around the wow signal and reduced it to raw impression. And what emerged was fascinating. The signal did not feel biological in the way humans feel biological, but it also didn't feel mechanical. It felt ordered, like encountering an intelligence operating through pure structure rather than emotion. The closest analogy I can give is this. Imagine standing inside a cathedral built entirely from mathematics. Not cold, not warm, just vast, precise, and ancient. Remember, I got those words? Vast and ancient. Navigating the psychic signature. One of the most difficult things to describe in remote viewing is texture. Not physical texture, energetic texture. Different targets often produce very different internal sensations. Human emotional targets can feel chaotic, fragmented, heavy, or emotionally saturated. Natural environments often feel fluid and organic. But the wow signal presented itself almost like geometric stillness. I repeatedly perceived concentric structures expanding outward, waves within waves. Remember, I got waves, patterns nested inside other patterns. And interestingly, I never once perceived a humanoid figure during the session. No greys, no reptilians, no Nordic beings. I did get spirits, I did get spiritual, I did get beings, but it wasn't a grey, it wasn't reptilian, it wasn't Nordic, it wasn't even insectoid. Instead, the strongest impression was that the originating intelligence may not experience individuality the way humans do. It felt collective, distributed, almost like consciousness functioning as a field rather than separate beings. Now again, skeptics could easily say, you're just describing abstract sci-fi concepts. And honestly, that's fair criticism, which is why I think experiences like this should never be treated as unquestionable truth. They should be approached like dream analysis or symbolic exploration. Valuable, perhaps, but not infallible. Still, there was one deeply unsettling moment. At one point during the session, I had the overwhelming sensation that the signal was aware of being observed, not in a paranoid horror movie way, more like a mirror recognizing another mirror. And that impression stayed with me long after the session ended. The architecture of the greeting. What if the wow signal wasn't a message in the conventional sense at all? What if it was compressed architecture, a seed rather than a sentence? Think about how modern technology works. A tiny QR code can contain enormous amounts of information. A microscopic DNA strand can construct an entire organism. Complexity can exist inside extreme compression. So, what if the narrowband signal functioned as a carrier wave designed to trigger layered interpretation depending on the consciousness receiving it? To a radio telescope, a spike in frequency. To an analytical scientist, an anomaly. To an intuitive mind, perhaps a symbolic encounter. One thing that fascinated me during the remote viewing was the repeated impression that the transmission was not specifically aimed at humanity alone. That's important. I did not sense we are contacting Earth. I sense we are broadcasting generally. And I just want to go back to what I remote viewed. I got talk, speak, communicate. I got listen, we speak. I got loud signal. I'm just looking further. I got message, civilization. I got information, technological. All right. If you didn't see part 1, go back over part 1 for the words. Okay. So when I got we are broadcasting generally like a lighthouse sending pulses across the ocean without knowing which ships might eventually see it. And perhaps consciousness itself is the true receiver, not technology. Maybe advanced civilizations eventually realize that awareness is a communication medium far more powerful than language. If that sounds wildly speculative, that's because it is. But speculation becomes interesting when it consistently circles the same symbolic themes across independent experiences. The possibility of cosmic psychology. There's another layer we rarely discuss. Why are humans so emotionally affected by the wow signal specifically? Thousands of strange astronomical events have occurred. Yet, this one grips the imagination differently. Why? Because psychologically, it represents something ancient inside us. The hope that we are not alone, the fear that we are being watched, the longing for contact, and perhaps most importantly, the possibility that intelligence exists beyond human civilization without being hostile. The wow signal acts almost like a modern mythological object. A cosmic Rorschach test. Rorschach is the ink block for those who don't know. So like an ink block test. Scientists see data, mystics see intention, skeptics see projection, believers see contact. And maybe the reason the signal remains unsolved is because its true power was never informational. Maybe its power was psychological. It forced humanity to stare into the dark and ask, if someone answered, "Are we ready?" Is the signal still alive? This became one of the strangest aspects of the session for me. The energetic impression did not feel historical. It felt present, not continuously broadcasting physically necessarily, but existing like a standing wave. Remember, I got waves? Almost like the original transmission left an imprint that can still be psychologically accessed. Now, from a scientific standpoint, there's no evidence for that claim whatsoever. But spiritually and symbolically, many traditions believe major energetic events leave residues. Battlefields, sacred sites, traumatic events, and religious visions. People often report feeling impressions connected to locations and moments long after they occurred. Could consciousness interact with information fields in ways we don't yet fully understand? Possibly. Or the human brain may simply be extraordinarily skilled at constructing meaning from ambiguity. Either way, the phenomenon itself remains fascinating. Integration and final thoughts. So, after the remote viewing work, What conclusion did I personally arrive at? Not certainty, curiosity. The strongest overall impression I received was not alien invasion or galactic federation. It was invitation, a pulse, a possibility, a reminder that consciousness may be far stranger than our current models allow. Do I believe the wow signal? So do I believe the wow signal definitely came from extraterrestrials? I honestly don't know. Do I believe remote viewing can scientifically prove the origin of the signal? No. But I do believe symbolic exploration has a value when approached carefully, humbly, and without dogma, because mystery matters. And in a world increasingly obsessed with certainty, sometimes the unanswered questions shape us more profoundly than answers ever could. Maybe the wow signal was just cosmic noise. Maybe it was a natural and rare phenomenon. Or maybe somewhere in the darkness of Sagittarius, something sent out a beacon and wondered whether consciousness elsewhere in the universe might one day awaken enough to hear it. Not just with machines, but with awareness itself. And perhaps the real question is not who sent the signal, but what inside humanity responded to it. If you've ever had unusual dreams connected to space, synchronicities involving the wow signal, or your own intuitive impressions during mediation, share them in the comments below. Please leave a comment. Do so respectful. Keep the discussion grounded and respectful. Exploration becomes dangerous when belief hardens into certainty. If you enjoyed this deep dive into consciousness, remote viewing, and cosmic mysteries, let me know what unsolved phenomena we should investigate next. Because somewhere between science, psychology, and spirituality, there may be an entirely new frontier waiting to be discovered. Thank you for watching if you've stayed this long. Again, I'm going to just be quiet for a minute. So I am offering PDFs. I don't claim to be better or greater than you. As a psychic medium, I can both channel and remote view. They are different techniques. And like I said, I'm just trying to make a bit of money. You don't have to buy them. All right. Thanks again, beautiful beloved souls, for watching. I ask that you be kind to each other. Smile at a stranger. Costs nothing to smile. And you might just save someone else's life. Also, take care of yourselves because you matter. You do. You are precious. Thanks again. Love, light, and blessings. See you tomorrow. Bye.